Camille, did you know that Democrats are now the party? We always knew they were the party of big government spending, but did you know they are now the party of big fraudulent government spending? Because that's what they're putting themselves out as. Did you know that?
Yeah, actually, I did know that. They
Okay.
just now discovered it, but I think we've known it for years.
Yeah, it's been interesting watching the Democrats absolutely lose the argument and the point of the whole Doge thing. Because they just look absolutely horrible. I don't know if this was like they planned it to look this bad in terms of like, did the Trump team plan to make them look this bad? I think Democrats just fell into the trap and made themselves look really bad. So we're going to walk.
They're still like mourning their loss of Harris losing for presidency,
Yeah,
and I feel like they're just like not emotionally recovered, and so
no.
these things that they're doing right now are not necessarily their full effort. They didn't put their full logical thoughts into it. They're just like emotionally wounded, and it's obvious.
Yeah, they're going back to the whole resistance hate Trump thing. But as we saw in a poll from CBS, that's not working because he's actually above water. 53% of Americans are approving of Trump and what he's doing thus far. So not making a dent here. But let's listen to some cringy Democrats protesting Doge, exposing a lot of fraudulent spending. And I apologize to everyone already. I'm going to fair warning. If you have headphones on, you might want to tick it back a couple notches because some of these get a little loud and a little abrasive. So I apologize in advance. This is fair warning. Last chance. So
in the building behind me, Elon Musk is seizing power from the American people. You understand what democracy looks like? This ain't it.
We don't pledge allegiance to the billionaires. We don't pledge allegiance to Elon Musk. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk.
We will not take this. We will fight back. Elon Musk is a Nazi Nepo baby. Hands off our data, hands off our tax refunds, hands off our social security checks, hands off our constitution, hands off our democracy, hands off.
We will win. 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 We won't rest. We won't rest.
wow. Okay, it's I
I
hate that. I hate that
I've
there.
never been so unconvinced of something in my entire life. Like, if you want to motivate me,
No, getting a 102-year-old Chuck Schumer up there to chant. It's not selling with the American people. I'm just going to say that. I don't think the American people are buying it. It's just so weird. And I keep going over it again in my head. Like, usually Democrats are better at unified messaging and strategy, or at least they were for, the Obama years and all that. But
because all their US aid funds went to like the organization of it.
maybe, and they're all
And
cut off from
now
their.
they had to come up with this on their own with no budget for it.
And I mean, if you look at that group of people who are up there, they're all like octogenarians at this point. So they all remember like the 1960 civil rights marches. And I feel like that's their default of like, what are we going to do? Let's protest like it's civil rights in 1960s. And it's like, you're out here protesting that there are people going through the government and finding out what we are spending our money or wasting our tax dollars on. And you're protesting that, which
Right.
there is a way that you could, and I'm just playing devil's advocate for the Democrats here. There was a way you could have approached this. You could have come to the table and been like, you know what? I think, yeah, there's some stuff there that maybe, we got a little ahead of ourselves, but there's definitely some important missions that USAID really funds and we want to protect those, but let's work together to save tax dollars and get rid of the stuff that we don't need anymore, is not in American. Fine. Okay, you've conceded that there are some things that we should get rid of. There are some things that we're wasting money on, but there is important goals. And like, but the problem is you've gone ahead and just said, we're defending all of it. We
Right.
don't care if it's $50
Right.
million worth of condoms or millions of dollars for a gender studies play in Australia or something like that. Like, it's the National Pillow Fluffing Institute or something like that. It's like, that's what you're defending. And they've backed into this really bad political corner.
Yeah. Yeah. I know our cringe moment of the week is supposed to be usually like kind of funny, lighthearted, entertaining, but often we break these down, and I actually do want to further discuss this one because okay, you have a wife. You
Mhm.
guys even recently, somewhat recently moved, and you probably well no, I know for a fact because you were talking about it. You were like going through all your stuff as you moved of what do we want to take with us? What are we donating? What are we throwing out? You know, when so like people do spring cleaning, whatever, you're organizing your house and you
Mhm.
do the piles of like, okay, this is trash. This is no good for anybody. This I want to keep. Let's set this aside and do I want to keep this or do I want to donate this? And this is like how it should be with the you said, how do you say it? Do you say you said, USAID, USAID, like whatever? I say USAID, but I think you
I
said
thought it was US aid, and then Marco Rubio was calling it USAID, and I'm like, okay, well, if he's
okay.
saying USAID, then I imagine that's what it's called.
So all right, well, all right. So that's what whatever. That's what we're talking about. So when you're cleaning house, yeah, you do that. Like you're like, this is trash.
Mhm.
Just we're done with it. It needs to go away. Okay, now this we need to look at it. Do we keep this or not? And like that's what DOGE is doing and should be doing. And I feel like did Elizabeth Warren like look at her notes? Like she forgot. It looked like she was like, we will not, blah blah. And then she like looks down and is like, Elon Musk, like she like forgot his name. But then the 22-year-old, the comment, the 22-year-old creepy guy, that
Mhm.
is okay.
Like, why
First
are
they're
we
like
picking on the 22-year-olds?
yeah, what
That's
like that, and then do they even know who these people actually are, or are they we just calling them creepy for the sake of calling them creepy? And there's brilliant 22-year-olds out there. Not all of them are brilliant, but there's plenty that are. And are, we're sending 18-year-olds to war to fight for us.
mhm.
So I don't think that they even have a leg to stand on when they want to bring up age. These are
Yeah.
the people that are like, we need to fight all the wars and we need to send our, our 18, 19, 20, 20 year old. So are all those creepy guys? Like that was just like, that's offensive. That was rude. That was wrong.
One hypocritical thing that I was thinking about is they keep talking about the 22-year-olds and about how they're too young to be looking at this information, right? Like they're too young to be doing this job. But this is also the party that wants to lower the voting age to 16. So which
Right.
is it? 22 is too young to be like looking at government data, but 16 is fine to be electing representatives and senators and all that in the president of the United States. So where is it, Democrats? Are 16-year-olds, mentally developed enough to choose the leader of the free world in Congress, or is 22 too young? Like, you got to pick a side here.
Right.
Which is it? You don't
Right.
like young people, and it comes off as like these young whippersnappers in here with their AI and their computers and their iPhones, and they're looking through the numbers and stuff, and they're creepy, and it's like, also,
How did
can
creepy get thrown in there?
yeah, and can we just, I don't know if Chris Murphy is, at this point, I'm going to put good money on it. Call it now. It's 2025, February of 2025. Chris Murphy is going to run for president. He's been out there and about running his mouth on literally every news station, and they've been propping him up like crazy. So, um, mark it down. I'm not going to say he's going to be the nominee, but I will say that come 2027, he will announce that he's running for president. Just gonna throw that out there.
Oh, this
Chris Murphy
day.
of Connecticut. And come back here. So when he announces, we'll come back to episode 296, whatever episode we're on at that point.
What is the date? It's
The
today's the
date
10th or the
is
11th. It's the 10th,
February 11, 2025. I'm
11th.
going to say it right now. Chris Murphy's running for president. But they've looked horrible, and I enjoy watching the meltdown and the people who are defending it, like, oh, it's a negligible amount. Like, I don't know why you're making such a big deal. It's only like $5 million. And it's like, okay, well, if I underpay my taxes to the IRS and they're like, well, you underpaid by $1,000, I'm gonna be like, that's $1,000. It's a negligible amount, really. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, are we really talking about that much money? Um, all around, I don't know if Trump's team planned on it being this good in terms of how bad the optics are, but it has definitely worked out in their favor.
I
So
swear half of them didn't even know what they were protesting. They were just
no, I
told to
think
be there. They were like, "We need bodies."
no. And I like that there was a video of them chasing Elizabeth Warren, asking her about like how much money she's made, and like she wouldn't answer any
Yeah.
questions. She literally was running. Like they caught her and they were chasing her through Congress. They're like, "How much money are you worth? You're worth like $12 million." And she's like, she wouldn't answer, and she's just started running
Like
away.
Amy Fan West. Just
Um,
just running.
just shuffling away.